I didn't film a lot or as much as I should have when I was building it. But here it is, all in its glory. All said and done, it's got about 10 degrees of caster when the frame's level and 15 inches of wheel travel. Right now, it has these lighter dual rate springs that are about as thick as a hanger wire. But she's smushed out a little bit. I guess I got a crane here, I can lift it up. So a stock beam is 34 inches wide. We made this one 42, so that's going to be 8 inches wider than stock. Right now it is wider than the rear, but the rear has some skinny little wheels on it. You run a 10-inch wide rear wheel, it'll look fine. At least on the paddles, I know it'll look fine. It should ride pretty good, at least better than stock. We did what I like to call poor man rack and pinion, and it's where we actually set V-dub steering box in the center and then make equal length tie rods. And another thing I do is I pie cut because the ball joint end holes are offset from each other. So one is closer to the driver than the other, and it's the short side. And that helps with the ratio of having a short tie rod versus a long tie rod. Well, when you mount in the center, you don't need that anymore. So I pie cut it, straighten it out, weld it up, so it keeps the same ratio. When you do this, it does kind of mess with the Arkham angle, the side you're turning in, to turn faster than the other one. But you never notice in the sand, and it's going off road, so it doesn't do, it's not bad. My Uncle George, I know he's done this setup on all of his long travel link buggies, and it's worked out great for all of his kids. It's not the fastest steering, but sometimes fast steering can be bad because they get twitchy. This will be really easy to control and manage. It's a turn and a half per side, so 3 total turns from lock to lock. If he doesn't like it, we can cut his arm and lengthen it, and it'll speed it up a little bit. But did a real good job welding that, beveled everything, and then filled in the weld real good, nice and hot. Should hold up well. The bottom shock mounts I have dual sheared. Haven't dual sheared the top, we'll get to that eventually. I really important to dual shear the bottom because the bolt you have is stupid long, so you're not going to have a spare bolt. The dual shear isn't so much for the shock, it helps support the bolt. You're supporting on each side of the bolt of the shock. Shock can act as a lever and help snap the bolt. I have a bunch of stuff that's still single sheared and it's holding up good, but I put grade 8 hardware in there. This is just some grade 5 stuff that we got at the hardware store, so it'll work for now, but obviously grade 8's better if you can do it. I don't know, I kind of like the nose with the raised, I call these bars the eyebrows. I think it looks really good, and it makes it real easy for somewhere to mount the shocks. Some people like doing hoops in the front. They're not my favorite to do hoops for shock mounts. It took about a week and a half to get it all said and done and on its wheels. We didn't reinforce the spindles. Bug spindles have a problem where they'll break in half, but we'll get to that eventually. That's the one of the bigger downsides of these link pins is your link pin bushings. They just get wobbly and sloppy, and you'll rebuild it. Everything will be nice and tight, and you'll go out for one ride. You'd swear they were just as wore out as before. About a week and a half, 2 weeks to get the front end all done up and ready. That was just Taylor coming over on one Saturday and me working on it a little bit during the night during the Christmas break. That's part 2 of this project. it was a big part of this buggy to get done. Rear trailing arms, we got the transmission mounted. And the next part, I'm going to show how I set up and mount shocks on these trailing arms. We're using side-by-side shocks because they're readily available. We can get them on our local classifieds for a good deal. Whereas, you know, a set of shocks like these, if you were to just buy them direct from vendor, they can get real pricey. Originally, these shocks were only a 9.5-inch stroke shock. When we removed that spring and put it to more of a conventional form, the piston in a more conventional form, it actually got 12-inch stroke shock. So with 12 inches of stroke, depending on where we mount it on this, which I'll show, this rear end should have the same, about 15 to 16 inches of travel. So it'll be pretty square front to rear as far as travel goes. I call that long travel, some people call it mid travel, but it's all about perspective. When you have a stock Volkswagen suspension that's only about 6 inches of travel, anything over 6 is long as far as I'm concerned. So thanks for watching, and look out for the next video if you like it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe if you think this is neat, or you like buggies, or you like talking about buggies, or just seeing what other people do. Again, thanks for watching. This thing is gonna fit in here. Nice. Nice. Fit in there like a thumb in a